Okay, now you're welcome back. We'll go to the next topic, which is lookup functions in Excel. Lookup functions in Excel. So, how far have we come? What is data? Types of data? Why analyze in Excel? We've touched base with formula and cell-based calculations. Now, it's time for the lookup functions in Excel. And uh, the two that I want to touch on in this data analysis in Excel series is the HLOOKUP and the VLOOKUP. HLOOKUP and the VLOOKUP, very prominent, but the most prominent is the VLOOKUP. So HLOOKUP stands for horizontal lookup. Horizontal lookup, and it's a function in Excel that is used to look for a value in the top row of a table, and then return the value in the same column from a row that you really specify. So for HLOOKUP, it is column based. It is column. Sorry, for HLOOKUP, it is row based. I beg your pardon. Now the parameters, which is also, we could refer to that as the syntax, the makeup for the function. You see more of this is that you have a lookup value, which is what value you want to search for in the top row, and then the table array, which contains the data where you're going to make your where the value you want to select is. And then there is a row index number, which it refers to as a row number in the table. You're going to see this shortly. Then I love this one, the range lookup, which can see if you want the value to return an approximate, you type the true function. If you wanted to return the exact match, then you type the false function. But if you don't specify false, true or false, it defaults to true. And if I move on to VLOOKUP, VLOOKUP is referred to as a vertical lookup. All right, it is used to look up a value in a table and return a corresponding value in another column. So this is column based. The vertical, the horizontal is row based, and you have the parameters very similar to that of the HLOOKUP. It's only that it is this one is column based, while the horizontal lookup is row based. Okay, now let's jump right into a demonstration. I want to get into the HLOOKUP, and here we are. We have a great book. Now, most of us, of course, we are students, so we are definitely familiar with what we are seeing right now. So we have a great book. So Q1, Q2. So you have the final exam score, and you have the final numeric grade, which is an average of what you've done right from Q1 to Q2. But the problem is this: we want to be able to represent these scores by the letter grade value here. And so, well, that is easy in this case because there are just 4 of them. But what about if there are 2,000? Okay, so this is why we need the Excel function. Now, because this is row based, we will use the HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP is horizontal lookup. Now, what about if this? See, what you want to look up. This is the lookup value. Okay. Now, what about if this were flipped? Right click, copy, and I transpose. It has changed to VLOOKUP. Why? The lookup is now in column. It is now vertical. Okay, it's now vertical. Okay, so take note of that. But right now, this is where it is. It is row based. So the score, the grade is row based, not column. Okay, so let me delete this. So now the question is, how do we get this? Now, when I teach HLOOKUP, I tell my student HLOOKUP is a snake. Why? Because it's moving from here to this row, so it's moving on the ground, as it were. So row based. So while VLOOKUP is a giraffe, because now it goes up to the column. So let's say this. So we'll come here, we click on I5. So we need to look up the grid value of 8.3 here. So we say equal to HLOOKUP. Remember, it's HLOOKUP. And why is HLOOKUP? Because this legend here, the table array, is in rows. So HLOOKUP value is this 83.8, comma, follow the syntax. All right, then the next thing is the table array. The table array is from here, L5 to L3 to P4. Okay, comma. Now the row index number, which in these two rows, which of them do you have the grade in letters? So it is in the second, so row index number 2. Okay, that's where it is. That's where it is. Okay, and now if I put comma, now we want an exact match. Of course, this has to do with grades of students. We don't want an approximate, so say exact match. Double click on this, we have this. Okay, and then we'll close it, and then we'll put Control Enter. I've made a mistake here. I made a mistake. HLOOKUP false. Hold on. Table array. Let me correct myself. So say Control Enter. Yes, that's where it should be. So for this one, we'll not put the false or the exact. So we'll leave it like that. Okay, and then we'll now apply this down. Now look at this. Why do we have NA? If you remember in the previous lesson, we spoke about referencing. Look at this, L4, L5. There is nothing here. There is no L4 to P5. There is nothing in P5. Nothing is there. So what we need to do is to come back here, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Let me Control Z. Now what we need to do is to come back here, Control Z. Sorry, I've messed my stuff up. Let me let me quickly make some amends here. So if we say this, Control, all right. Now watch this. If I come here now, what we need to do is to ensure that we lock this cell up and put an absolute reference in there, and that will be function F4. On your keyboard, it should be F4. Just press the F4 key. Okay, F4 key. If you have a desktop keyboard, but for most laptops, the F4 shares the button with maybe the light or whatever, so you need the function. So once you have that, you do Control Enter, it returns the same value, and then you now apply it down, find that everything is now, because we need to, this has to be a constant. It has to. And if you check, 83.8 is between B, it's a B, because A starts from 85. So this is 91, that's why it's an A. 84.7, it's more than 85, that's why it's an A. 81.8, it's a B, because it's less than 85. All right, so that is how HLOOKUP works. I hope you understand. You understand that. Now let's move to the VLOOKUP. Now the VLOOKUP is very interesting. It's a vertical lookup, and this are what we need to be input here to be able to automate this sheet. Okay, so this is Tolano Adventures. It's a pricing sheet for a company that is involved in tourism. Okay, so we want to get the description so that when Clark inputs the quantity and the tour number, itself calculates or generates the total. So get this like an invoice sheet. So equals to description. Now this is VLOOKUP, goes up to the column, equals VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, the lookup value will be here in B12, which we'll need to impute. All right, comma, table array will be from B5 to what? To D8. And don't let us, let's make sure we just put the absolute referencing right now. So that'll be select, and that's that. Okay, and then comma, the column index for description. So we have 1, 2, 3 columns that we selected, right? One tall number, so that's B, C, and D. So for description is in 2. So we want the giraffe or the VLOOKUP function to go up here, okay, and look, depending on the tall number that we'll put up, it will go right into the second column and pick out the appropriate description based on the tall number, based on the tall numbers here that we input here. So that will be 2. So the column index is in the second one. Okay, comma. Now we want an exact match, not approximate. So click on exact, false, and then we close it, and then we say enter, control enter. And you understand why there's any, because there's nothing here. There's no tall number, so that's why. Okay, so we apply it down so we don't repeat the process. We'll come to cost, and again we want to do a VLOOKUP for that as well. So equals VLOOKUP, and the lookup value will be based on the tall number. Okay, comma, table array will be from B5 to D8, and then we select, and then don't forget absolute referencing. Okay, that is very, very important. Okay, and then for cost, it is on the third column, so 3. And for this as well, we want the exact match, so we type false. Okay, close, control enter, and then we'll apply it down. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, now we come here to the total here in E15, and I will say equal to sum. Okay, sum, everything that we generated here, control enter. Okay, so watch this, everybody. Once we put in the quantity 3, 4, 5, okay, and then come over here to tall number. There's a A0289, A0289. You see that? Okay, so we have this here. So based on what we have here, 1,400, that's it. So once we come over here and then we say this is B3454, and we hit enter, it returns the value. And then let's choose this one, C, Control C, C6386, and do Control V. We have this. Now the total will be what? Equals to the quantity times the cost, right? And then if we apply it down, we have this to be 23,075. You see the instrumentality of the VLOOKUP, which is the horizontal lookup. So it goes up here for the description to check out. Once you call this up, because you want an exact match, it's false, so it's returning the correct description for each of the tall number. Now, what about if? Watch this. What about if we choose true here? That is approximate match. Okay, we choose true. Let's say enter. Okay. All right. And then we'll come over here and then we'll choose true as well. True. Okay. Nothing seems to be wrong here. But now I now say, watch this, A0354. This is interesting. See, say A0354. In the first instance, there is nothing like A0354 here. So this is fictitious. It's fake. All right? And there is nothing to track to check that this tour number is actually fake. Why? Because we chose true, approximate match. But once we change this to the real match, it's a false. Okay, false, sorry, false. Look at NA. Why? Because there is nothing like A0354. Say false. Nothing. Nothing. But immediately we now say, oh, it is actually A4353. See why it is important to use the false, the exact match. Otherwise, we could have fictitious transactions incorporated into the system, and it won't be detected if we do not choose false, an exact match. Okay, so that is all about VLOOKUP and lookup functions. Okay, the next will be pivot tables. I look forward to seeing you. Until then, happy analysis. See you soon. Bye.